So now, especially in 2020, there are a ton of product research tools and new ones coming out every single week or month, it feels like. I personally still use Jungle Scout and Helium 10, and these are probably my favorite tools and tools that I have been loyal to and used for my own personal business. And in this video, I wanted to take some time to go over why I may like one over the other, and especially if you guys are just starting out, why this might help you guys out in choosing one over the other. Now, it's helpful to be able to try and use one and check out the other. There isn't one solution, and everybody has their own preferences. I find one is more beneficial than the other in certain cases, so that's why I use both, but I know that this isn't an option. And some people are just like, I'm only team Helium 10, I'm only team Jungle Scout, and in my honest opinion, if you are growing a business, you really shouldn't be choosing teams, especially if they're both beneficial. So definitely check out the rest of this video. Let's go. What is up, and welcome back to the Prestige Amazon FBA YouTube family. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Andy. I've been selling on the Amazon platform as a private label seller for a few years now. I currently release videos twice a week on the Prestige Amazon FBA YouTube channel, so definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you guys are interested in joining a free Facebook group, I do have a Prestige Amazon FBA Mastermind Facebook group, as well as my Instagram, where I post daily content on Amazon FBA specific topics. Direct links down below to both of those, as well as a cheat sheet you'll also find down there. And if you guys are interested in a free 30-minute coaching call, definitely stay till the end of this video to figure out how you can be entered into winning that. So in the Amazon FBA private labeling space, there has been many product research softwares that have come and gone over the last few years. Some still sticking around and going strong, like Jungle Scout and Helium 10, but some have not been doing or have not done so well and kind of had to fade away. It's getting too competitive, in my opinion. There's honestly so many research tools, and you really need something to stand out in the market. I've been reached out from a lot of other product research software tools. Some have been really cool, and I hope to be releasing videos on some of these because I also use these other tools. But for the sake of this video, I do want to compare Helium 10 and Jungle Scout just for the Prestige fam. So I do want to start out with Helium 10. So founded by many codes, Helium 10 is pretty much an all-included suite of tools, or an all-included suite of tools for Amazon FBA sellers. It starts at, I think you can purchase an a la carte plan with certain tools that you need, but I highly recommend the $97 per month Platinum plan. And again, if you guys do want a 50% off code, definitely check out down below. I include a free 50% off for the Prestige fam, so it save you 50 bucks right there. But the $97 per month, or $47 per month after the discount code, will pretty much include every single tool that you need. Everything from its black box tool, which pretty much scours the entire Amazon FBA website for millions and millions of products, to look for products within your criteria for you to find a potential product to sell on Amazon. So extremely useful. It also includes something called, I think it's like a hijacker detector, which pretty much lets you know and tracks your products for whether or not people are listing on your listings. Most times this should not be allowed, as you're a private label seller, or most of you guys are private label sellers. So likely you guys will be owning the brand, owning the trademark, hopefully brand registered, and this basically tracks for whether or not people are hopping on and off your listing. If you might be losing sales this way, so extremely useful. And some of the other tools that I like in this suite are Cerebro, Keyword Magnet, and Scribbles. I'm a huge geek and a huge nerd for SEO optimization, and it's one of the key points in making sure that your listing is fully optimized and you're maximizing your sales as much as possible. So Helium 10 basically does that very easy for you and makes it very seamless. I would say you can transfer information from tool to tool in terms of keywords, and just to make sure that you have covered all your bases. Again, this is extremely helpful in just making sure that your listing is fully optimized, that you're hitting all the keywords that you need to be represented for. And yeah, just extremely useful in that sense. Now, I do want to briefly talk about Jungle Scout. This was founded by Greg Mercer, and if you guys don't know Greg Mercer, probably one of the OGs of the Amazon private label space. To my personal knowledge, I'm pretty sure that Jungle Scout came at least a year before Helium 10. Maybe I was unaware of Helium 10 then. But honestly, in my opinion, Jungle Scout had pretty much changed the game of product research. When I was just first starting out, product research was extremely difficult because we didn't have a software like Jungle Scout to be able to, or I was unaware. I wasn't using Jungle Scout at the time, but basically I was pretty much basing my numbers off multiple different websites just to be able to get solid data to determine whether or not something was valuable or worthwhile to get into. But pretty much Jungle Scout made that cut that research time down to a matter, not necessarily minutes, but instead of spending hours and hours finding, specific points of data, Jungle Scout pretty much had that laid out for you within a matter of minutes. So they kind of changed the game, especially when I was first starting out, in being able to cut down that research time and having everything scraped from Amazon into one site for Jungle Scout. Of course, when I was just starting out, and for most people, this is going to be quite a costly tool, but honestly, if you guys are getting into the Amazon FBA space, it saves you so much time, and I think it's an extremely valuable tool. Of course, Helium 10 does have a similar product research tool like Jungle Scout, but honestly, Jungle Scout, in my opinion, was one of the first to kind of pioneer this software specifically for Amazon and Amazon sellers, so props to Jungle Scout. Now, over the last few years, Jungle Scout has definitely grown from where it previously was. It wasn't that all-included suite of tools, but over the last few years, they've definitely added to their suite, added value for their customer base, and I've definitely seen it. Some of my favorite tools to this day are things like the keyword tracker, where you can basically input certain keywords that you want to be tracking for your certain products, and basically that will refresh every few hours or every day. Sometimes it's every few days, and basically tell you where your organic ranking is for that specific product for certain keywords. So if you're selling tape, you can enter in your ASIN, and you want to see where your product is ranked for tape, masking tape, clear tape, double-sided tape. Every single day you'll see where it's ranked organically, and you can kind of track the progress or track where your product is kind of staying for the most part, which is in my opinion very useful, just because I like to keep an eye on my products. I don't know if you guys like to, or maybe you guys are scrolling and typing your keywords and then looking organically yourself. Another tool that I really like is their product research tool, also extremely useful if you guys are just starting out. Again, this saves hours and hours of time. I can't imagine doing product research the way I did previously, so shouts out to Jungle Scout for making that jump into advancing what product research looks like now. In addition to that, they do, as mentioned in the last video, they do have a launch process where they kind of increase the sales velocity using a site that they've acquired called JumpSend, and that basically kind of sells your products at coupon rates. A lot of people kind of list their products there to make additional sales, increase sales velocity, get some more representation, hopefully increase that BSR rank, and hopefully increase that organic ranking as well. Now, I do want to talk about some of the benefits and pluses and minuses that I see over one tool over the other. There isn't too many of these, as both of these tools are very helpful and useful in many ways, but some of the information can be accurate or slightly accurate in one tool over the other. So that's why I like to also use one tool for certain cases and the other tool for other cases. So for example, from my previous knowledge and my previous experience, using Helium 10 to figure out, average or estimated sales revenue and sales volume for a certain product using their Chrome extension or their browser seems to be a little more accurate over Jungle Scout. So in terms of sales data, Helium 10 seems to be a little more accurate over Jungle Scout. Now, of course, this data is somewhat estimated. Amazon doesn't give this exact data to the software, so it's hard for them. I'm sure they have their algorithm figuring out, what these sales estimations are. But especially if you guys are watching this during the times of coronavirus, the information is very skewed, and it's hard for these softwares to figure out, how much sales people are actually making. For me personally, I've been comparing my sales data to what's being showed and populated on these other softwares, and it's not very accurate. It's accurate to a certain extent where you can see relatively uh, related slopes. So if you see like a decline, it makes sense that there's a decline. I don't know if it calculates and takes into account like the BSR and things like that. That would make sense. But in my personal opinion, in that form of information in terms of like sales and revenue, I would say Helium 10 is, for the most part, more accurate. Sometimes I do see Jungle Scout being more accurate, but I don't know why certain tools are more accurate during certain times of the year, or some days are more than others. I have no clue. Now, when using the actual product research tools, for Jungle Scout, it's find a product. For Helium 10, it's black box. I do want to say that Jungle Scout, for some reason, is able to populate a lot more options within certain filters. I think the last time I used Helium 10 to do product research to check for actual potential products, I think I was only able to get about 200 potential products for a certain search criteria, but when using Jungle Scout, you get thousands and thousands. Maybe I'm not using Helium 10 right, even though I've been using it for a few years, but Jungle Scout, you're able to get thousands of thousands, so it seems as though Jungle Scout is giving me more options. I'm not quite sure why. Helium 10 used to be like this. I'm not quite sure why they set the filter. Maybe I'm just not clicking through the pages or something like that. But Jungle Scout does give you more options from my personal experience. So if you guys are just starting out and looking for a product research software, you may want to be able to test that out. And these softwares might actually have a free trial period, so you might not even have to spend that $50 a month to test it out. But I highly recommend it. It is $50, and if you guys are going to commit to one, I would highly recommend it, just to save some money. But again, I did talk a lot about these tools, and just to wrap it all up, I do want to say that these tools are both extremely useful and they will both get the job done. And it's not a matter of, do you want to join Helium 10, Team Helium 10 or Team Jungle Scout? It's a matter of just figuring out what works best for you as a seller and as a new seller, especially if you guys are a new seller. So definitely I would try both tools out. And as mentioned, if you guys want to test these tools out, I do have discount codes for both of these tools down below, so definitely go check that out. If you guys have any questions or comments, as always, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll be sure to get to those as soon as possible. But yeah, definitely take the time to invest in these tools. I can assure you that they will save you a ton of money as well as a ton of time. If you guys enjoyed that video, definitely be sure to drop a like and support this YouTube channel as well as the YouTube algorithm, because the YouTube algorithm loves it when you increase that engagement. So be sure to drop a like, comment if you have a question. If you guys are interested in that free 30-minute coaching call, be sure to also drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below #PrestigeAmazonFBA. Again, if you guys enjoy the content, definitely be sure to subscribe for more. I release videos twice a week as mentioned, so hopefully you guys will stay tuned for that. And definitely check out the Facebook group. It's popping. We definitely reached 800 members, so that's extremely it's a big milestone for the groups, and I am actually enjoying everybody in it. I've just received some great feedback, so I appreciate you guys, and hopefully you guys will find value in that as well. But until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.